Hello everyone. As we just saw, one of our attempt at TITB has been to characterize certain interesting and important aspects of rag music, and primarily I am focusing on actually melodic aspects, and in particular the characterization of the pakad or the actually melodic motifs. So actually this is how we are going to proceed next. First we'll be answering the why, the question in the sense why we chose this study, the motivation behind, and then we'll touch base upon the challenges that are posed, and then we'll actually go through the solutions that we have proposed and I have tried implementing. Then we'll go through the performance results for these implementations, and then we'll talk about future research scope for the same. So as to answer the motivation question or the why question, it will be interesting. So we chose pakad as a cue for rag identification, since pakad is something that essentially so it captures essence of raga. So we thought that we chose pakad for our characterization, and we are trying to characterize in terms of classifying it in order to separate it out from sequence of swaras or the phrases. So first, before we start characterizing or solve this problem, one has to know some basics of rag. So rag provides us basically with a framework. So rag is basically a framework. So we have a set of rules and on a set of swaras in terms of what swara can or cannot come. Can or cannot come after what swara, and of course there are alankaras or the ornamentations that will introduce variabilities. So as an example, we have actually Alaya Bilaya raga, and for which there are 4-5 pakad or characteristic phrases. We will be primarily focusing on our attention to actually Dhanidapa phrase for the demonstration purpose here, as for the slides. So we have some underlying framework which is pretty gripping, both in the sense of being interesting and being actually infallible. But there are challenges too, in the sense we have many variations as for the same phrase. So actually these are 10 to 12 Dhanidapa phrases or pakad from single concert of Ashwini Bhide. But we see that there are, as for the contour shapes, the pitch shapes, there are actually many variations. So for example, but fortunately we can separate these variations into 3 types. So as for first, we see that the durations of every phrase of each other phrase are actually varying to a large extent. We have phrases that last for about just 0.8 of a second, and some last for about 2 seconds. Also there are shape variabilities. For example, we have Kan swara. So Kan alankara is the one which just touches a note. So for example, these are actually Dhanidapa phrases, but we have additional Kan swara there for the second phrase. So for example, I can just play this script just to show the difference between the two. So in the last there was that Kan swara, and the short phrase actually duration that does not have Kan swara sounds like. So I hope it was actually demonstrative of that Kan swara. So also as Priti Madam just talked about, as for the same shapes as well, we see that there are actually lot of variabilities in terms of relative durations of every note. As in, whenever there are steady notes, that those in the overall phrases can get compressed or stretched. So I mean that is that is third validity that comes into picture. So we solve these problems actually one by one. So as per the varying phrase durations, we actually make them equivalent by simply linearly interpolating them. So for example, over here on left we have original signal pitch contours, and on right the same exact sequences or the signals have been stretched or compressed to the same length in order to better compare them against one another. Next, as for changing percentage duration of every note in the phrases, ideally we would want to have a plot that so on left we have 3 phrases and for each that ni note is so the duration of ni note is not exactly the same. So ideally we would want to have a plot that that actually has an average of average duration of the ni note, and similarly the rest of the notes too. So so the question comes, how do we solve this problem? One way to look at it is to simply average them out, but simple Euclidean average won't exactly give us proper results. So for example, over here we have 2 sequences. One is the green triangular shaped signal, and the other one is the blue one. So the simple averaging would give us something like a trapezoidal shape, which is not too representative of our signals. And if we have more shapes, more similar shapes into picture, we see that our average shape is gets skewed by a large extent. The simple averaging, so the simple averaging is actually just not enough. So basically we need averaging, but we need averaging where we take into account the time shifts as well. So for this we make use of an algorithm called dynamic time warping, which takes into account the time stretching of the phrases or the signals or the sections of the signals. So basically we compute the cost of or the difference between every sample of a single phrase against every other sample of another phrase or another sequence, and then we basically find a path that actually gives us least overall distance. So with that we get such a optimal path for the stretching, and actually this is what we exactly precisely tried, and this is our implementation. So we see that the blue curve is actually is indeed good representative of remaining 2 phrases. So but again we have to keep in mind some pitfalls of this algorithm as well. So for example, intuitively one would warp or map this segment of the sequence with that segment, but we see that these are getting mapped to a single point. Similarly over here, all of these phrases are getting mapped to a single point. So such pathological warpings do come into picture, and to actually get rid of these, we have some configurations that we can set for our dynamic time warping algorithm. So for example, we can change the step patterns that are allowed. So for example, in our earlier slides, we can get rid of such paths where we have one single sample corresponding to 4 or 5 samples. We can get rid of such things by actually not allowing this P1 and P2 paths. So and maybe just go with the third step pattern, or we can we can do the same thing by preferring or less preferring a certain path by assigning them some slope weights, or we can impose some constraints so that these paths don't go. So we can basically restrict our paths to certain section of the grid. So we would not allow any path that goes actually beyond these boundary regions. So actually these are some of the things that we do to actually avoid such pathological warpings. And in addition, as for our implementation, we have made use of threshold DW, which is a variation of or flavor of same algorithm, just that we disregard certain cost or distances, sample distances that actually may not be as much relevant. So for example, if there are variations or error in trackings, so actually this is the data that we found from our actually warping. So we saw that when we warped our phrases against one another, we saw that most of the phrase differences were actually lying less than 25, were within the limit of 0 to 25 cents. So we chose to ignore 0 to 25 cents of actually difference, and we have got good results or supportive results in terms of. So and as I talked about earlier, there are DW shortcomings that we have to keep in mind. So for example, in presence of direct DC offset, or in terms or in presence of amplitude scaling, we can have actually pathological warpings, or the overall shape is ignored. So we have to always keep this this in mind while interpreting our results. So we come to the last problem about the shape variations. So we see that there are some shape variation in terms of the presence of the Kant-Swara, and so there are more oscillations there. So we have in place a dynamic time warping. Also, we make use of unsupervised clustering to solve this particular problem. So for that we use K-means algorithm. It's a popular algorithm which separates out the phrases or sequences into separate clusters, and for the same we use we make use of dynamic time warping distances instead of simple Euclidean distances. So with that we have got reasonable outputs. But again, I mean, as for any researcher or an engineer, we have to be aware of that algorithm's shortcomings as well. And indeed, we are keeping these things in mind too. As for this is what we got after. So our sample was Ashwini Bhide, the clip, concert, and Manjeera Asnares. So we had around 25 or 24 Dhanindava phrases, and basically we computed the warping paths between every phrase of those 25 phrases against every other phrases. So this is what we got after we did our clustering. We saw that our clusters came out to be in a way that we successfully separated out current phrases into one cluster, and actually non-current phrases into actually another cluster. So actually that we can see from here if we just actually zoom in that plot. So over here we have knee-current nodes, and there we actually don't have those nodes. And actually they are the actual pitch contours we saw. And then this is basically behind the scenes the warping that is happening. So we can see that these crests or the troughs are getting aligned with or actually getting matched with one another. So indeed our dynamic time warping is also doing a good job. And these are the two representative phrases of those two clusters. So the blue one is the one that does not have so actually that corresponds to a representative phrase, or the computed mean or centroid of the phrases that fell into a cluster that did not have knee-current swar, whereas the green one is the one for the phrases that had current swara. And indeed we see that our representative phrase is indeed representative in the sense that actually it does or does not have the Kanswara depending on which cluster it actually fell into. So I mean that is pretty actually promising result for us. And as for actually non-Kant phrases, if we compute warpings of every phrase in that cluster against every other phrase in the same cluster, we see such warpings, and we actually repeat the process over here. So we see that over here our window or the we see that there are less variation in terms of non-Kant phrases, and especially as for the last part, there is actually narrowing of that section where the last actually need to actually glide comes in. Actually, I mean this glide of the section that actually corresponds to the last part of the grid. So actually there we see less amounts of variation. So actually such observations may be made, and this kind of plot actually gives us some actually better understanding in terms of what what all the possible variations in the expression of what nodes and what sections of the phrases basically. So we have computed the two centroids of the two cluster, one for the actually non-Kant phrases and the other for the Kant phrases. So we actually provide these centroids and ask our algorithm to get to actually compute distances of all the phrases, the Manidhapa, also Garigapa. So I'll just actually go back to that actually database slide. So as for all these concerts, we have Dhanidhapa phrases, Manidhapa phrases, and also Garigapa phrases. So we compute distances of all the phrases in all the concerts, irrespective of whether they are Dhanidhapa or not, and we compute their distances. Of course, dynamic time warp based distances with respect to those two centroids we just saw earlier. So we see that the Garigapa phrases, since they don't have much commonality with our Dhanidhapa phrases, they are too far away in terms of distance distribution. Whereas since Manidhapa do have some of the nodes that are common, we can expect to have dynamic time warping made such that they are slightly at least closer to these Dhanidhapa phrases. Nonetheless, we are able to successfully separate them out completely from this actually positive histogram. We see that there are actually non-phrase Dhanidhapas too, which ma'am talked about earlier. That that are there that actually introduce some amount of false alarms. But nonetheless, as I said, results are very promising. We see that there is very sharp ROC curve that we observe. So for very low false alarm, we have very high hit rates. So this is the generic shape that we have found for every implementation and every configurations. So we have changed our configurations as well in order to compare the results and find what is the best or optimal way to actually run these experiments. So we have tried changing the global constraints. So the windows that I just showed you earlier, the Sakochiba parallelogram, we see that with Sakochiba constraint that I showed you earlier, that and with no constraints, we get pretty comparable actually outputs, hit rates with respect to same false alarms. So this red and green are quite similar to one another, but we are saving on computational complexity. So that is one advantage of actually learning of first actually implementing the learning or the training part of this algorithm. As for the learned constraint or the windows itself, we see that those results are poorer, and actually maybe it is because we are losing out on maybe our database is too small. Maybe with larger database we will be able to take into account more variabilities, and with that we will be able to get more or the better ROC curves or such tables. Then we also tried changing the quantization levels. So we tried a quantization of 100 cents, which is Q12. We have also tried a quantization of 50 cents, which is Q24. We have seen that, of course, Q12 quantization is just not enough for Hindustani classical music. We get poorer results from these tables as well. We see that. So yeah, that is one comment we can make, that maybe 100 cents quantization for Hindustani music is not enough. As for with that we come to about end of our presentation. Like this is our plan in terms of how we are going to proceed next. We are planning on implementing or running these algorithms again over much larger audio clips or the database. We are also planning to make use of more innovative time warping algorithms. Like there is one called derivative dynamic time warping, which claims that it takes into account shapes as well. Also, we are exploring effect of step patterns, slope weights, and some more pattern recognition techniques in addition to our k-means. So that our algorithms are more robust in successfully identifying the distances. Also, we are planning on extending this work to actually Mukra level. So whatever I just showed was just on the at the phrase level, Dhanidapa or Manidapa and all that. But we are planning to extend this work to the Mukra level, and also with that ultimately, if we are successful enough, we will be successfully search a particular motif, which can be a Mukra or a particular just phrase in the entire clip. And the second outcome of the same would be this segmentation, successful automatic segmentation. So, thank you.